Morning. I was just chatting with a client of mine and we were talking about what's happening in our brain when we're stuck in a really, really dark place. And so I thought I would come in here and share a few things that I wish I had known 8 years ago about what's happening in our brains when we're really stuck. So you have to understand that our brain is always trying to keep us safe. That's its number one job, is to just keep us safe. And safety means that it does not want to feel pain or discomfort. It wants to conserve energy, wants to seek pleasure, and it doesn't want to feel any pain of any kind, okay? And so when we're sitting in a deep amount of pain, here's what is happening. Our brain is trying to make sense of this pain for us. So it's going to offer us a lot of thoughts or stories that line up with what we already believe. Now, it could be a subconscious belief that we have. We could have a subconscious belief that we're not good enough, that nothing we ever do is good enough. And then something can happen. Somebody can say something, or we might end up in a circumstance where our brain is like, look, it's true. Even if the person that said it actually wasn't meaning that at all, okay? But if our brain is holding on to that belief, and if we've believed it long enough, it can become our identity. And when we have that and it gets triggered, then our brain it's trying to prove us right. It's always trying to prove whatever we believe to be right. So the thoughts that your brain offers you are actually almost never true. But they really feel true, right? I mean, I can't think of a single thought that I've had that doesn't feel true, right? They feel very true, okay? And this is why coaching is super helpful, because it can help you see like the holes in your stories. And sometimes you need somebody else to come and look at your stories with you and be like, is that actually true? And help you question the story that feels like unbelievably concrete, solid data, and it's not. Okay, so that's one thing that's always happening, right? So I don't know if you've ever had this where somebody says something to you and you cannot let it go. Like, you are just ruminating on it. It's going round and round and round in your head, and then you're finding other things, other pieces of evidence, other things that people said to you that back up that same thing, right? And you're like, why can't I let this go? Why can't I let this go? And you're just ruminating on it. The reason why you can't let it go is because you don't know the thought that it triggered. As soon as you discover that deeper subconscious thought that it triggered, you're like, oh, it makes so much sense now. And then whatever the person meant by it doesn't even matter. What matters is what you actually believe, what's actually true. That's what matters, okay? Because other people can't control our feelings. We can't control other people's feelings, and they can't control ours. So we're always the ones who get to control our feelings. So the other thing that can happen when you're on a healing journey is you can get triggered, and you might think, I should be over this by now. I should be healed from this. I've been healing this for so long. Why is it coming up again? And here's what could happen is you can get stuck. You can get stuck in a shame-guilt cycle. Because if you feel shame about being triggered, your brain is going to be like, you should be over this by now. You should be done with this. And it's trying to help you get unstuck. But shame and guilt never gets us unstuck. It just keeps us in that shame-guilt loop. So what happens is, if you start feeling like you're in a really dark place, and then you are feeling shame and guilt for being in the dark place, you get even more stuck in the dark place. So here's how to get out of it. Okay, here are 2 thoughts that I want you to try on when you're feeling stuck. The first one is, it's not a problem to feel blank. It's not a problem to feel sad. It's not a problem to feel angry. What that's doing is it's telling your nervous system that it's safe to feel it. And when it's safe to feel, you can process it, okay? If it's not safe to feel it, you're going to stay stuck in that forever, right? The more you try and squash down the emotion, the more stuck you're going to feel. So when you say it's not a problem that I'm feeling this way, it can come up. The other thought that I really like is it's not a problem to get into the pool of, panic or fear. It's not a problem to get in the pool of panic, fear, or worry, or insert your emotion here, okay? It's just a problem to stay there. And what that does is it tells your brain, like, it's okay. It's okay to feel this. We're not going to stay here, but it's okay to feel it right now. So the reason why these two statements, these two thoughts can really help you move out of the dark place is because the reason why you're not able to move, why you're feeling stuck, is because your nervous system doesn't feel safe feeling those things. If you can show it like, hey, it's going to be okay. If you can show your brain that it's going to be okay if you feel it, and it's not going to last forever. I think this is the thing that gets us stuck so often. This is what keeps us from actually healing trauma, is we think that if we go back and start feeling that same pain that we felt with that traumatic incident, that we're going to stay stuck there. We don't want to go do that. Like, we do not want to do that, okay? But the thing is that you don't stay stuck. And if you're feeling like you would get stuck, we need to chat about doing some aroma freedom, because that is really powerful. It's the most gentle and most powerful way that I've discovered to sit in emotion and not get overwhelmed by it and not actually get stuck. In fact, I've seen people shift in less than 5 minutes from a very, very traumatic incident, and then they stop feeling it. So, if that's something that you're needing, let's chat.